Morning, y'all. I've got a subject I want to discuss today. And if I could title this little speech I'm going to give, this video that I'm recording, if I could title it, it would simply be Don't Quit. I can't tell you how many times in my life, in my working career, I have busted my butt trying to work hard, trying to do the right thing, not taking the shortcut, making hard decisions just so I could be honest when it was a whole lot easier to be dishonest, and I could have gotten away with it. Working for other people, sometimes working for myself. And it almost always never seems to pay off. I saw a post the other day, and I've been mulling this over in my head. I don't even remember who shared it, but it said it really doesn't pay to work hard, because you're going to wind up with the same paycheck for working hard that Joe gets every week for forgetting to do his job. Forgetting to do his job. And there's some truth to that. There is some truth to that. You are going to work beside people your entire life that don't put half as much as you do into it, and they get the same check that you do. In fact, sometimes they seem to get advanced and promoted and more money than you do a lot of times. And a lot of people will say that it's because I perform so well right where I'm at that people keep their thumb on my head, and that's also got some truth to it. I know as a business owner, if I have a man that is doing an excellent job exactly where he's at, I don't want him going anywhere else. I want him to keep doing what he's doing. I don't want to take my best salesman and turn him into a sales manager. His gift is obviously sales, not management. Doesn't mean that I won't pay him. Doesn't mean that I won't give him money for doing what he does so well. He might even make more than the sales manager because he's just that good at sales. But our culture doesn't encourage that type of behavior. That's just me saying that that's how I feel about it. But anyway, my point is, you got somebody that says something like that, I do so good where I'm at, they just won't let me move. Maybe I should just start slacking off and doing bad at where I'm at. There's a point to all this. Just stay with me. I'm throwing some stuff out there, try to relate to as many of you as might be watching this video. I know many times I have found myself working and busting my tail, and it seems like nobody wanted me to go anywhere. I've also busted my tail and worked hard and done things right, and had people that did want me in those positions. They did want to move me up, but there was some corporate policy or something in place that prevented me from doing so. Something like I don't have a college degree, or I don't have enough college education, or I haven't been in that field long enough, for my experience and knowledge to count for much of anything. And there's always a reason why, and hey, that's all good. That's how you feel. That's why I don't work there anymore. You can always leave and find something else to do, and I've done that. But then you run into this problem where you've been working full time for right at 20 years. You got no 401k because you've been job hopping your whole life, and you got no career. You're always starting over on the bottom. Every time you change jobs, change careers, you always have to start over at the bottom and try to work your way up. So I hope I'm saying some things that y'all can relate to, that some of y'all, most of y'all, can relate to. Just want y'all to understand that I've been there, and I know how you feel, and I know what you're talking about. I know what you're thinking. about some of that, all right? And now, here we go, getting into the meat of the whole thing. You ready? So, I too, very often, have had the thoughts and the feelings that I'm just going to do the bare minimum that my job requires me to do, because I am profiting nothing from moving forward. So here's the thing. People that work hard and bust their tails and they do what's right, you know, they're honest on the job site, you know, they are truly working like a man should. They work with integrity. They have honor and pride in what they do. The truth is, no matter how many times you hear those bosses and those people get up in front of you and say, oh, we see everything, we notice, we see a lot more than you think we do, we notice it, they don't notice. They don't. And they really don't care to notice. They're too busy watching dollars on the screen. They don't. I'm not saying that's the case with everybody. I'm just saying most of the time they don't know. They don't notice. But this isn't about them. Got a whole long list of ideas that I would love to share with that group of people one day and be able to encourage them and motivate them in the right ways. But this video is for you. This video is not for them, it's for you. I have to ask you this question. When you go to work and you bust your butt and you work twice as hard as everybody else around you, and you make the right call in the face of all the opposition and obstacles, you refuse to take that shortcut. You choose to do it right. You choose to be honest instead of lie or cheat, even when you know you can get away with it, especially when it's way easier just to do it the wrong way. When you make those decisions, when you choose to wake up and get to work, not just on time, but even early, to get your stuff together so you can get started early, and you choose to stay late and finish cleaning up or finish up whatever you're working on. When you make those decisions, I have to ask you this question. Why do you do it? Because here's what the Bible has to say about it, okay? If you choose to do those things, and the only reason that you choose to do those things is so that you receive some sort of reward, some sort of promotion, some sort of recognition. You hope to be first in line for whatever comes next. When you choose to be a model employee, a model worker, in hopes that it will pay you something, that you will be compensated and rewarded in some way in this world with earthly means, material gains, capital gains, if you will. The Bible says that truly, should you receive that reward, that's it. That's all you're going to get out of it. You have received all the reward that you're going to receive for doing that, for being that employee. And that's just if you get that reward. See, there's another reason why people choose to be model employees. There's another reason why people choose to show up early, to stay late, not to call in sick, not to make excuses while they bust their butt from can to can, while they're filthy and dirty and hurting every day when they go home, when they work their butts off and they make the right call and they do the right thing and they don't tell lies and they're honest. The reason that people do that, the only reason anybody should ever do that, Listen to what I'm fixing to tell you now. This is going to blow your mind. It's really, really complicated. The only reason that men should do that, should work that way, is simply because it's the right thing to do. Simply because God instructed us to do so. And here's what the Bible has to say about that. Concerning your reward, God tells us very, very plainly, if your goal is seeking rewards in this earth, in this life, then surely, truly, if you receive that reward, that's all the reward you're going to get. But people that do things, even when nobody else does see, when nobody else notices, they just choose to do the right thing simply because it's the right thing, then it's God in heaven that rewards you for doing the right thing. It's God that gives you increase. It's God that gives you, and sometimes, and He tells us, the Bible does tell us that sometimes those rewards are not seen on this side of eternity. Sometimes we don't get those rewards until we enter eternity, until we make it to heaven where God is, into His presence. But if you do get a reward on this side of eternity, let me tell you something. I'm just going to lay this out there. I don't care how hard you work, and I don't care how honest you are. If you get any kind of reward, good or bad, it's because God gave it to you. God provided you with that increase. God gave you that promotion. It came from the Lord. The best that you can do, all of your righteousness, all of your good doings, all of your hard physical labor, all of your number crunching and pencil pushing, your computer skills, the best that you can do is like filthy rags as far as God is concerned. So what's the point of all this, James? All right, let me tell you what the point of this is. The point is, I have been on that edge, standing on that line, trying to decide whether I was going to quit or not. I have been in line and felt like I have started over so many times and have felt like I was just drowning in financial mess. Everything's getting more expensive, and I can't seem to find nobody that really cares anything about what I bring to the table, what I offer as a labor hand, the smarts and the wisdom that I bring to the table. Just nobody seems to really care at all about paying me for what I'm capable of. They just want me, to stick to these little mediocre bullcrap jobs. You know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Busy work. And there ain't nothing that aggravates me more than that. I'm just as human as the rest of you. I hate me some busy work. I'd rather go home and find something to do at my own house and work my butt off, keep myself busy than busy work. But that's just me being human, right? So, the point is, I can't tell you how many times I have quit a job and started over. I can't tell you how many times I have wanted to quit at life. I just get so mad, so upset, so frustrated. And, I just want to quit. I just, say things like, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to start doing things half-hearted. I'm going to stop giving my all. I'm going to stop, putting all this time in. I'm going to stop showing up early. I'm going to start calling in once every couple of weeks like half of these other dummies around here. I'm just going to lay down. I'm only going to do what my job requires me to do. I ain't staying late, not another day. I've been there. I've done it. I've thought it so many times. And there's times even today where I think the same thing and I get aggravated and I just want to tell somebody off and let them know how it is, throw my hard hat down and walk away. But I want to share a concept with you. It's been 15 minutes into this video already, and we're just now fixing to get to the good part, okay? So y'all just hold on with me for just a few more minutes, because this part of it is good. This one's gonna get to you, I promise. The concept of quitting. We say things when we get aggravated, get upset, things aren't going the way that we expect them to, or we think that they should go. We get upset and we say things like, I just want to quit. I just feel like quitting. I just feel like walking away from everything. I just want to quit. I want to tell you something about that concept, that idea of quitting. It's an illusion. It don't really exist. There really ain't no such thing as quitting. Now you think about what I'm fixing to tell you. If you ain't working your booty off for the man, what you gonna be doing? Sitting on your couch, hoping to goodness that you qualify for welfare after the banks done took everything you had during the 6 months it takes you to qualify for half the programs and assistance that our country has. Is that really what you think is going to happen? You think if you just start halfway doing your job, and you just start doing the bare minimum, and you just start slacking off, you don't think your immediate supervisor is going to notice and start asking you questions about what's going on? I dare you to tell them I'm not doing as much as I used to do because, you know, I'm tired of doing twice the work, getting paid the same as I dare you to tell them that, see what happens. I know what I do. I know what most people do. You gone. You don't work here no more. The idea of quitting, the concept that you can just quit and walk away from something is not true at all. If you're a Christian, you'll understand this. You should understand this. If you don't, I hope to enlighten you. Quitting is not an option. You don't have that option. If you're going to call yourself a child of God, a follower of God, a servant of God, you don't have the option to quit. And even if you did, you'd still be working towards something. You still gonna be doing something. You still gonna have to do something to survive, to eat, to have a place to sleep. You're gonna have to work somehow and do something just to be able to function and live in this world. So the idea that you can just quit and somebody else just gonna jump in there and fill the gap, start taking care of you, is hogwash. You got to do something to take care of yourself. But you don't have that option anyway. Let me share this with you. This is the part I told you was going to be good. Now, when we talk about the gospel as Christians, we discuss what is the gospel. The simplicity of the gospel is that Jesus Christ died and he became our sin so that we didn't have to be punished for our sin. He took on those sins and was punished for us, and he died with that sin. Yet he rose again 3 days later and made it possible for us to spend eternity with God, to be reconciled to God forever. Made it possible for us to be called children of God. Now that is an awesome thing, that a perfect sinless man became all the sin that I will have ever committed in my entire life, and paid for those sins, was punished for my sins so I wouldn't have to be punished. That's awesome. And that means a whole lot to me. But I'm going to share something with you about that whole scenario that makes it even more awesome. And hopefully this will help you appreciate it more. Appreciate what he did, that sacrifice that he did, that he made for us, even more. At any point in time, Jesus could have quit. If anyone that has ever lived and ever had any reason or right to complain and walk away and say, I am done with this bull crap right here, it was Jesus Christ. And not only did he have the right to walk away, but he had the power to walk away at any point that he would have wanted to. And let me tell you something, he wanted to. And we see all the evidence in the world that we need to draw that conclusion when he is praying to God in that garden the night he was arrested and betrayed. And he said, Lord, please, if it is your will, let this cup pass from me. I don't want to drink out of it. But let your will be done over my own. Now, there's a lot of people that will try to super spiritualize everything that's going on in there. But what I'm telling you that Scripture is indicating to us is that a very, very 100% human named Jesus Christ is having an extremely human emotion of dread and worry. He is extremely concerned about what is coming, and the pain and the suffering and the humiliation that's coming with it. He is asking his Father, God, not to make him drink from that cup, not to make him experience all of that, because he did not want to in his flesh now. But he was also 100% God. He was totally divine. And so we all know the story. I mean, he trusts God, his Father. He does what he's told. He executes those commandments and those instructions perfectly and did not falter one bit, never failed, didn't sin at all in asking God to take that suffering from him. But the point is, it wasn't just in that one moment that everything was decided. Jesus had infinite opportunities between that moment in the garden and him drawing his last breath on the cross to walk away. I really want you to think about this, and I want this to hit you hard. I want you to let this soak into your heart and into your mind. They beat him with reeds and then hit him with those whips, and at any point in time, he could have just stood right straight up and snatched them whips out of their hands and drove everybody that was in there watching out. And everyone would have been powerless to stop him. He had that thorn on his head and was dragging that big old humongous heavy cross outside the city up there. At any point in time, he could have just thrown that cross off of his shoulder and said, I've had enough of this crap. At any point in time, Jesus could have said, I've had all I'm going to take of this nonsense right here. and just left me and you to pick up the tab. I hope you understand the picture I'm trying to paint you. Your problems are nowhere near as big as you think they are. We serve a God that can tote a load like that. And you over here talking about just wanting to quit and lay down, start halfway doing your job. I am so grateful that Jesus didn't think like me and you do. Because if God would have asked me to do what Jesus did, let me tell you, son, you ought to be in a bind. You understand? If I had to do that, the whole world would be doomed. I mean, I'm just saying. Somebody said, why did Adam have to go and screw it up for all of us? And I said, if Adam wouldn't have done it by the time I was born, I can promise you I'd have screwed it up for the rest of us. That's for sure. Even if nobody sinned between me and Adam, I would have messed it up for all of us. I promise you that. Now, I'm just honest enough to tell you that, but, you know, take it however you will. Listen, if I leave you with nothing else but just this right here, I want you to know that when we think about quitting, when you talk about walking away, when you think about you strongly considering just laying down, just remember, number one, just remember, quitting ain't an option. It really ain't an option. Quitting is just a figment of your imagination. Because even if you quit, you're going to have to work towards something for survival. I mean, you're going to have to survive. And number two, it's a whole lot easier to keep going. You don't think about quitting. Take it from me, if you will. Just try this out, okay? It's a whole lot easier to keep going. You don't think about quitting. You don't focus on everything that's wrong. You don't just sit there and contemplate, hyper focus on wanting to quit and lay down when you're working hard for the right reason. When you're working hard just because God told you to work hard. I ain't saying it's always easy. I'm just saying that when things happen at work, when they take more from you than they give back, when they promise you things that they never come through on, when people is making the same money that you are for doing half the work that you are, be grateful instead. Don't become hateful and bitter and angry. Be grateful and show gratitude that you have a paycheck. You work and do everything that you do as if you're doing it for the Lord, not for your employer, not for your supervisor, not for your buddies, not even for your family. You work and you do as if you are doing for the Lord Himself, as if God, as if Jesus Christ is your employer. And you think about Jesus being your employer and sitting down with Him and telling Him, I'm thinking about quitting. You remember what I said about Him throwing down that cross and saying, I've had enough. I hope this has been encouraging to you. I realize it's lengthy, and I wonder how many people might watch this, but I hope it's been encouraging to you. I hope it's been enlightening, even challenging, and I hope you hear my heart and what I'm trying to say to you. I love you guys. Until next time.